All right, so let's start with general. You guys have the Hermit, the Empress, Strength. Now, I will note that you actually have Strength twice. So I feel like invoking your inner strength, your fortitude, willpower is going to be a big thing this month. The month might require you to just be strong as well. It might be that you have a lot to take on. And in some way, this might be a trying month where it kind of tests your limits, especially because this strength, it's like, obviously this guy must be quite powerful to keep this thing at bay. And as the overall message, it's next to a card of the cautious energy, the worn, he's been through. Now, it doesn't really necessarily look like that in this deck. I've never actually quite related to the imagery in this deck for this card, but I'm sure I'm missing something. But regardless, it's an energy here with this pair of exhaustion. So this month, again, could be testing you out and putting you through quite a bit, but it's nothing that you can take care of because you have that inner fortitude to take on everything that comes at you, basically. So anyway, you have the Hermit here with the Empress, and I feel like, all right, if you're not a female, then I don't see the Empress as your energy, but someone who is a very strong influence around you. And this can be someone that you're heavily thinking about. They're definitely on your mind. There's this big energy focused towards this woman. If you are a female, I feel like you're embodying the Empress this month. Your confidence is up. Your willpower, you're ready to manifest your desires and put effort towards them. Some of you might not be up for it until the end of the month, where you're spending the beginning doing a lot of thinking and reflection on, what actions to take, on what it is you want to do, and becoming clear. Others of you might actually focus this month on learning. Maybe you're actually learning a trade or a skill of some kind, and there could be difficulties surrounding that, which is what Strength's role may play here. But I feel like, again, with this combination, she is, this is gonna sound lame, but she's extra strong here with Strength by her side. That's how I'm seeing it. And I do feel like there's strong leadership qualities that are coming up with this trio too. And for some, this could be someone that you're looking up to, that you're trying to invoke the energy of, because you want to be as dynamic as this Empress, this mentor or influence of yours. The love story, I have to admit, it's not very... We have the Five of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles with the Devil, and this, it kind of tells me that you're not really focused on love this month, and doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. There just could be other things going on that are more relevant to you for December, and it's most likely money. It feels like there's this heavy thing on juggling money because you might be struggling with it, or you spent a lot on gifts, holiday gifts, for instance. But you're juggling a lot of money here. Some might have issues with gambling, with the Devil next to these financial cards. Or, again, this is just about a financial struggle that you're experiencing that kind of leaves you no time to focus on the love aspect. And as I've mentioned, the overall, we have Strength and a Knight of Wands. It's pulling through. You've got the strength again to make it through any situation, which is what the Knight of Wands does as well. He is a worn energy type of card. So again, I do feel like this month there might be a lot going on, or a lot of things that test you to a degree. And you might feel a little bit exhausted at the month, but on some level you might feel complete because you managed to do everything, complete everything you needed to, because you're very capable. All right, so let me get one for the Empress. Knight of Pentacles. All right. I do think the general is focused on work. This is an opportunity that's coming in. Maybe there's some form of promotion or position that's being given to you. It's tied to this corporate Hierophant card. That's how I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it as a business centric, and that other people are recognizing your talents, what a strong influence you have, so you're being given an opportunity. Possibly into management, for instance. All right, so let's see, love. Let me just get one. Yeah, I don't think the love is very strong this month. The clarifier is the Knight of Swords. I think there's just a lot of communication going on, figuring out, again, how to bump up your finances, because you might find yourself struggling a bit this month, and that could be, again, where strength plays a role. But you'll pull through. I feel like you'll pull through, and part of that might be the fact that there is a financial opportunity that's coming in. Who do I want? Let me get one. Chariot. Yeah, I mean, you're aggressively pulling forward. You have the momentum. It could be that you're getting a lot of attention, and again, people are keeping you incredibly busy with the Chariot, and you're being pulled in all sorts of directions. I don't feel like, I do feel like this is a heavy action-oriented month, and for me, it emphasizing the fact that you don't really have time for love in December, which is fine. There's always January. So regardless, I'm going to give you one card from the French vintage deck. Passion. I think, who got this? Gemini? I swear, this deck is like, I'm going to tell you the opposite of everything you said. So normally I pull one, but get it. Fate. All right, so you got Fate as the next card. All right, so here's what it could be. This deck is saying that, love is not really on your mind, not your focus or anything like that. This is saying, I think, that it might creep up suddenly towards the end of the month is how I see it. I feel like for the majority of December, love is not going to be on your mind. And then towards the end, more so around like the Christmas, New Year's, like nothing, someone can come out of thin air and be an interest for you. And in terms of that person, there could be a sexual connection, a very passionate connection that manifests as a result. And that could also be what the Knight of Swords is about. It could happen through the internet with the Knight of Swords communication there, or just someone that you meet and you're talking to, or that you run into, for instance, and strikes up conversation. It's probably that more than the internet. Because on the internet, you most likely be looking for it. But, if you do have like a lingering profile somewhere online, it could be that end of December, you suddenly decide to check your messages, see what's up, and you have a connection there that you find very interesting, and it's more than meets the eye. Some of you, this might not be that bad. Some of you might be spending the time looking at a situation from a different perspective, taking the time to do so, and pretty much at a standstill, just really assessing a situation. This is most likely romantic, but it doesn't have to be. Now, taking this time out and finding a new perspective could be making you feel anxious. Maybe you feel like you're on the clock, or you don't have a lot of time to make a decision, for instance. Others of you are not seeing a way out of a situation and are trying desperately to find a solution, but it's not becoming clear to you. The Eight of Swords, she's unable to see, even though there's like rays behind her. There's a clear path out of there. I guess there's a clear path out of here. I mean, between those two swords. But she has her back turned, and she feels, and she's putting herself in a position where she feels as if she's stuck. And I think that is your overall feeling this week. Anxiety could definitely be a thing as well. I do feel like being under pressure to make a decision, whether that's your own pressure that you're putting on yourself, or someone's giving you an ultimatum, or for whatever reason you feel like you have some sort of deadline. to, again, make changes to a situation, figure a way out of a situation. It could involve a breakup. It could involve causing pain to someone else. It could be that this situation that, again, you feel stuck, you feel trapped, is a heartbreaking situation for you. It's quite painful to deal with. You don't like it. There's a lot of mental thoughts here that stresses you out. All in all, a negative situation that you feel like you're in. And with the Eight of Swords in the middle, you right now don't see, or rather during the week, don't see a clear way out. Some of you might experience the energy of the Three of Swords, or a situation that has not necessarily taken you by surprise, but is quite hurtful. And maybe you didn't know where it came from, so that's why the Hangman is there, where you're kind of reviewing and seeing, how did this happen? And again, it leads to anxiety, and you have the energy of the Three of Swords. Now, I'll move on to the other deck, but can you clarify where the Three of Swords leads for this week? All right, so that could, oh, okay. This makes me sad. I'm sorry. We have the King of Wands here, so this can definitely be a breakup situation with a male or just another person. Could be fire energy, but someone who, I mean, I get with this King of Wands, he can be prone to aggressive behavior, rage, hothead is coming to mind. It could also be someone that you have a strong, chemistry and connection with. For whatever reason, the situation currently is not working, and again, has led to some form of heartbreak, breakup situation with this person. And I asked where to lead, and unfortunately the cards that came out were the King of Wands with the Five of Cups. So Five of Cups is not great energy. This kid is sad. He's looking at his cups that have spilled over, completely oblivious to the two tasty cups back there. Now is not the time, I guess, for this character to really pay attention to their surroundings. They're just kind of absorbed in their emotions at the moment, which might be the case for you. This might be a very emotional time, and you're just feeling sad. You might have some regret over a situation, but the two cups are there, so I personally say cry your eyes out, whatever the situation might be, if this resonates, and then take those few deep breaths, take a moment to review your surroundings, and you might realize that there is silver lining behind you with those two little tasty sundaes, and not all is lost. So in some ways, when we have a situation that has ended and is painful, sometimes it can be a blessing in disguise, but you don't realize it until a lot of time has passed afterwards. So I personally always say, in the moment, if it hurts, you cry, and then, just breathe and analyze the situation afterwards, and you might realize it was for the best, which hopefully will be the case. How could they, what advice do you have for them? Libra. All right, advice cards. We have the Chariot and the Eight of Wands. It could be, I'm wondering if you have any sort of plans that are external to this situation, or even part of the situation. Like maybe this person broke your heart over the fact that they're not, the relationship's over, let's say. And you had a trip that was planned. You were going somewhere with the Chariot and the Eight of Wands. And now it's like, what do I do? Go anyway. I think that's what the cards are saying. Go anyway. There's adventure here. This is fun, dynamic energy. This could be a suggestion just to travel, just to get away with the Chariot and the Eight of Wands. Both of these come up for me as movement cards. I'm not saying that necessarily pushing you to just move on, move forward, because people don't really work that way. I would take it as a suggestion that if you had some sort of plans, go through with it. And see where it goes. You might have a lot more fun than you expected. it could lead to just a lot of excitement on your end, because this is, as I said, very dynamic energy. If you don't have anything planned, I would say, hey, why not plan something? If you have the money and support to do so, take a little trip, take a road trip, and just pick somewhere, honestly. And I would say see where it takes you, because again, I get this fun energy surrounding travel that is a potential that could just help the situation. It's not meant to be like a band-aid or a distraction, but maybe something that'll give you time to realize that there's a silver lining in the situation that has ended painfully this week. But they are, I mean, Chariot again is a card of like, keep on trucking. You know, if you're going to work or if you have any particular plans, just do them slowly. And I think that the momentum might pick up rather quickly for you, because these are fast. They're fast moving. And as I've said repeatedly, there's a lot of energy here. So the movement forward from the Three of Swords, I think, can happen more quicker than you would have anticipated, considering the pain you might experience over the week. All right, so I can't disregard these decks. Oh my God. So here we have the Knight of Swords and the Empress, and I look at these as the outcome. And it could be that, you know, you go through this little painful ordeal, and then by the end of it, you've got the power here of the Empress. She's capable, she's powerful, she's in her element. I consider her to be all queens combined. So you could be feeling confident, strong, you can take on anything. On some ways, you might feel like you want to just like scream or roar like the Knight of Swords here, and ready to take on anyone who tries to essentially do battle with you. Some of you might be facing the Empress yourself. That's a possibility. It could be someone that I see this as having to do battle with them. Knight of Swords isn't always a conflict card for me. It definitely represents communication, but the way I see him charging in, it's like he's about to attack her, and then she's like, bring it on. And I feel more so that that's your energy, where you're ready to take on anything. And as I said, very few of you might have to endure some form of conflict or confrontation with an Empress-like figure. And then on the very basic level, this can just be communication that's happening. It could be about growth, or if you have a business, for instance, it's a lot of communication tied to that. I see, you know, growing your business, so growing your contacts and networking that's coming up on a very general level. So let me just get one for the Knight of Swords. I got this as a clarifier for someone else. All right, so, I mean, in terms of communication with the Knight of Swords, with the Queen of Swords as a clarifier, if that's not yet another person that you're dealing with, which, you know, she can be bitchy with that combination. A cutthroat person is coming to mind. That could be, again, how you're feeling because of your own experience. You're not taking any shit. And then for others, there's just, again, this cold, hard communication that's happening. All right, one for the Empress, and I'll leave it. Seven of Wands. So again, I said with the Empress, there's this feeling of being able to take anybody and everything on. So I do feel like the majority are going to be the cutthroat people, or like, come at me and you're going to see what happens to you. Seven of Wands, this guy is persevering against all these other people, and he's doing it with ease. But you might have a lot of competition. You might have a lot of people that are giving you problems. But as the Empress, with the energy of the Empress or the support, I don't think you have any problem dealing with anyone who's giving you trouble.